Hello there. So, um, today is day 8 of my unlocking my door to step out. Um, Backstory is that for most part of this year, beginning January, I have been unwell, struggling with some new health challenges, and it's been difficult for me to step out. So, um, as I'm getting better, I've decided that I need to just step out and walk. Not necessarily to walk, or just unlock my door and just step outside. So today is day 8, and I decided to step out, and I was able to go out, walk for about 4 kilometers plus. And this is just helping me not just to move my body, but it's also giving me time to listen to my thoughts. And so, somewhere in between, I just found myself really reflecting on what it means to be human, and what does being human mean. So, being human mostly feels automatic for most of us, and that has been the case for me as well. We wake up, we breathe, we feel, we think, we act, sometimes with love, sometimes with fear. It's just what we do as normal human beings. It's part of basically of our existence. Sometimes trying too hard, or even without trying. Um, so today I was just doing a bit of research on what being human and being humane is, and as I was walking, I had an opportunity to reflect on this, and I just understand that being humane is being more aware, being more compassionate, being more honest, which we rarely do, um, choosing to show up and not just exist, being gentle, truthful, and with art. So this just made me realize how deeply flawed I am as a person. How often I move with whatever comes my way just to keep peace. I'm one person who really do not like confrontation, and I tend to always run from it, um, just so that peace and the calm can prevail. But that, I've realized that sometimes means that I have to be less of myself. I tend to be more kind and patient and understanding with other people. Not always 100%, especially with family, but not always being myself. I've realized that for most of the time, I've not extended grace to myself that I offer to other people. And just that is what being human is, but being human is, and I would just like to be more human and really start to think about kindness more towards myself. So today, I just thought about how that flow has made me to keep going, keep running, even when I was struggling with things that I could have maybe simply discussed, but did not, because there are parts of me that I really didn't want seen, and especially when you're struggling with your health, or like I've done, especially in this year. Sometimes these are things that you don't want to like just discuss and share with everyone. So I've always carried burden myself, and that has been the case for a long time. So I show up to work, I put effort to ensure that everyone else is comfortable, results are delivered for people that I work with, but forgetting that I also need to think and prioritize for myself. So just thinking about being human and really starting with oneself, just turning that kindness inward. I'm one person who's always believed in self-love and being good to myself first before being good to other people. But I've just, as I was just reflecting, I just realized how less of that I really did for myself. So some of biggest lessons for me today as I was walking is just to learn the art of gratitude, not just with my words, but the kind that not necessarily humbles me, but makes me think twice about myself. I just realized how often I brush off compliments or kindness because I'm not used to receiving them. But also just realizing that gratitude is also a form of self-acceptance, saying thank you. He's saying, I see myself through your eyes and I'm willing to receive the love. So on my walk today, someone just said something and I said thank you. It's something that I would really, okay, say that was beautiful. Let me say that. And I just said some thank you. Most of the time, these are things that I would just, brush off. And sometimes we can just confuse being strong with being silent. I've thought about avoiding conflict as being mature, but maybe it was just fear, maybe disguised as peace. And I just, as I was thinking, I just thought about how all these things just, especially my health struggle this year, just brought out the side of me that I really didn't know about, especially how I react to a challenge like the one I had this year. As I said, I've always just moved, even when I've been unwell in the past. I've just kept going, and this year looks like I finally just broke down. And I remember I was responding to something, and I feel like the way I handled it wasn't the way I would usually do things. Because, as I say, I don't just like confrontation, but then when you've been under pressure for so long and just moving without thinking, sometimes you find yourself, saying stuff that needed maybe time just to sit down and reflect on before you say it. So um, this year, just learning that flow that I have, that just, keep going, and you might, breakdown and not just think through um, whatever you want to say to people and how you want to handle conversation. So just learning that it's not, I don't have always to be okay, and just learning how to better communicate my struggles, because I've been so focused on, as I say, delivering for other people, family, the people I work with or for, that I forgot how to maybe just sit down and communicate, especially when I'm going through stuff that need time. And I've just been so hard on myself because being unwell, I had to make some decisions that people would see as probably stumbling. But that's the human side of me, just seeing those things as having stumbled, just asking myself, should I have kept going even though I was struggling? But I'm learning that being humane means that I will learn probably from what I consider as a stumble, and it will help me to rise. So I'm grateful, not just for where I am, but also for the quiet lessons that are beginning to whisper through these days that I consider ordinary. Maybe it's just in the little things, remembering that every day is a breath, every day is a new start, that every mistake, every thank you is part of the same sacred flow. And as I walk, I can carry that reminder, or as I now move through life, I can carry that reminder that I'm not just here to be human, but here to be humane, to others, yes, but most importantly, especially for myself, so that it's easier for me to also show up in the places where I'm needed to show up as my authentic self. So if you're struggling with anything, just know that yes, you're human, but the human doesn't really reflect 100% of who you are. You need to think about being more humane, especially to yourself, so that you're able to extend the same grace to others.